You're about to learn, my button, who Bryan Callen is. So he came back. Apparently he took a long break from doing stand-up specials. And he's a middle-aged man. He got canceled a few years ago by being a sexual predator.
A sexual predator.
He got half canceled.
Essay or just creepy?
Essay.
Oh, was it essay?
Yeah, and this is his attempt at pulling like a Louis C.K. kind of, but he's not popular
enough to be Louis C.K.
No, and he's not talented enough. 213K in 3 weeks
for a big guy,
for a huge comedian, and he even relies on the fact that he did it live at Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership. That is so cringe, putting that in the title, like having to lean on that when you're already. He's been on the Joe Rogan Experience more than anybody.
Flop. You consider this a flop?
Oh,
did he flop?
This is a commercial flop as well as it sucks. So.
He should be embarrassed.
It's embarrassing.
He should leave public life.
Would you like to watch some of it? We're going to look at some...
I'll be listening to it.
Yeah, you don't need to see... Seeing it doesn't make it any different.
Okay, it's not Jim Carrey.
No. See,
if you tried...
This is all observational.
Okay, because if you try to listen to Jim Carrey, I think...
No. This is
Could
not
you imagine trying to listen to Jim Carrey? I think, unfortunately, Jim Carrey would be 30%, 40, 50% less funny.
Skin, marble brown skin that sweats olive oil naturally. Dude, his I don't know how to describe his body. If it was a landscape, it would be unsafe to traverse in a regular car. You need
Oh my God.
special shocks.
Is he talking shit or does he want to fuck him? Because it sounds like he wants to fuck whoever this is.
Exactly. That's the new flavor of right-wing comedy is...
Dick riding men? Glazing men?
Glazing men.
Glazing men but saying I'm not gay?
Yes.
I saw a joke recently. It wasn't mine. I think it was a Twitter joke, and it was like, what do Democratic women have that Republican women don't? And they were like, a husband with a Grindr account. Because all the Republican men are DL.
Yeah.
And so there's
Lindsey
this weird...
Graham.
There's all this weird glazing that they do. Even Trump glazes other men.
Mike Johnson.
I've seen things where Trump glazes another man where he's just like, that guy, his physique. He's just a man. The ladies love him. He's a man's man. And I was like, how the fuck do you know?
It's a similar formula to, I know you don't remember this, but the Gringo Poppy, Brendan Schaub, was one of our first travels down the rabbit hole of shitty YouTube comedy, I guess. You could
Man, remember when the Schaubers were on our dick being like, you guys aren't funny either. And
to be fair, we just started the show.
Oh yeah, okay, but also we weren't very funny, but also they were just like, and that guy looks like a beta and she's fat. And I'm like, wow, you have eyeballs. Yeah, we're not that.
Oh, you think I'm a beta?
No. I'm talking about the fat thing. But you're not an alpha guy. You're not like a Chad guy.
No.
I think alpha beta shit is bullshit. But
no, it's not.
You don't think it is?
It's not black and white.
I think it's absolute bullshit.
I think the whole thing is bullshit.
I think when we're talking about alpha and beta, it lacks nuance. No human is just
totally.
one or the other.
But there's also more than just alpha and beta. There's
Sigma?
Yeah, Sigma male. There's other ones too. They're just not as used as much in the lexicon.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm like, ugh.
We don't have to go down that route.
I was like, let's not.
We haven't even gotten to the trans bit, which is
oh no.
It's so
He has
cringe,
a trans bit.
Unfortunately.
I'm not a health crank. You got to get sunlight, get sunshine, direct sunshine, at least 20 minutes on your genitals. Right? Just don't go crazy. But if you have a pale vagina or penis, you're not healthy. We know that. God.
So,
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Can we not all agree that an intense tan line is actually hot? When you see the porn and the girl is super manicured and super hot, and she's tanned, you can tell she wore a thong while tanning. Yeah, so just the little bit of the landing strip and the lip is pale.
Sure.
And the rest is tan.
Okay.
That's hot.
I'm fine with that. Good.
I personally find that very aesthetically pleasing. Maybe it's because I grew up in the early 2000s. Do you remember in the early 2000s when girls would get the Playboy bunny or a heart sticker and they would go tanning? You peel off the sticker so you have the Playboy bunny or the little heart on your little hip.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I think that's hot. But I'm just saying, tan line's hot.
So I'm in the bowels of this mansion. There's it's just rooms and different art things. And then I come to a room and there's this, and there's this giant canvas. It's a white canvas, and it looked like the artist took his long hair and dipped it in black paint and then did this once, right? Just this bullshit I'm looking at, right? And I can hear the din of the party, and I already feel a little bad about myself, right? And I'm looking at this thing, and this duke, this count, this striking Dracula. This like, and I didn't see him at first. I just heard him. I'm just looking at this painting, and I hear behind me, I hear this voice, and it just goes, "Do you hunt?" Oh, hi. Do I hunt? I have
Are they pumping
hunted before,
THC into the room?
They might be.
Because I'm like, do you hunt? Is not really like, everybody's like, ah! Like, it's the funniest thing they heard. And I'm like, did everybody eat an edible before going?
A year.
Brilliant idea. If I ever make a journey back into stand-up, I just bring weed brownies and I just get everybody obliterated super high at the very beginning, and I make sure that my set is like last. So it's kicking in for everybody. And so when I get up to do my set, everything I say is funny, or people are having a panic attack and have to like go home because they're like getting tunnel vision.
You can get to a point where the only way you feel alive and connected is to get into a tiny submarine, to cram into a tiny submarine and go 2.5 miles under the surface of the ocean to the coldest, darkest, wettest place on the planet to see that much of a boat.
I'll give him this much. He's good at talking. He's a good orator. He knows how to speak publicly.
Yeah, I really like
good enough.
I liked his
right?
I like his word choice when he was talking about the party. He's like, you could hear the din of the party.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I like that. Was
a
like
good wordsmith.
That was a good he created good imagery in my head.
Yeah, he's good at that, but he's just not funny. Is the problem?
Looks at me and he goes, "I'm an atheist, by the way." So I'm like, "You're an atheist? That's what you're gonna say to me at your age? You're an atheist?" He goes, "Yes, but I'm not taking questions at this time."
I didn't get the context of that joke, so I can't judge it.
I also like that we're skipping around, so I'm like, he's not funny because we're only getting like 15 seconds of all of his jokes out of order. Just in his defense. In his defense. I don't think I would find him funny without that defense.
But also in my defense, I'm trying to find a particular part.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just sort of skimming until we get there.
Got it.
I think I'm at the section of the special that I wanted to get to.
Okay.
What the fuck? Anyway, but and I'm not here to make fun of any. I was a young person. Lie to you. Your algorithm will just keep giving you things that you already agree with. So you'll go from thinking you have all the answers to knowing you have all the answers. Yeah, that's good for society, huh? Just silo off and just surround yourself with only people that agree with you. Okay. I see it in my
Bryan
own house.
Callen kind of looks like Joe Rogan.
My daughter got caught.
I know. And they also talk about MMA, and they have a show called Fight Companion, or Joe does, and Bryan and his co-host Brendan Schaub are on that part of the Joe Rogan
He's like the Temu version.
The Temu version?
Of Joe Rogan.
What's a Temu again?
Temu is like a website where you buy like cheaply made goods.
I see. Okay. So this is the part. Now we listen.
Now I listen.
In an algorithm, thanks TikTok. You worry about school, compete with TikTok and Reels and all that. She got caught in one algorithm, and she's basically a communist. And my son got caught in another algorithm, and he's just a little to the right of Genghis Khan, okay? So, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And it's funny how the world changes, and you're the last to know about it. That's the other thing about being older, man. Is like you realize you're a little calcified, not just physically, but also culturally. Like I walked into a coffee shop right here in Austin, right here, and behind the counter was a young person making espressos, and it looked like it was a man. I mean, I don't know how he identifies. I don't want to, but he had a beard, a pronounced beard, and he was also wearing a lovely summer dress, lovely. But it had straps, a floral pattern. It stopped above the knee. And he was wearing cork wedges. He was standing on 5 inches of cork, which is to me, to have no traction under your feet is irresponsible. Like you know what I mean? Like what if I come at you? What the fuck? Anyway. And I'm not here to make fun of anybody for wearing a dress and a beard. I don't like that. I'm not that kind of comic. I don't make fun of people. I never made fun of gay people, even in the 90s when it was fashionable. So that's not. I'm not here to do that. But I will say that just aesthetically, like a summer dress, to go from that to a beard. So there's probably a reason that look hasn't caught on historically. Right, because it's just so abrupt on the eye. For me, just to go from a dress, it's like
the
going
historical
from
thing's really funny because historically men have actually always dressed far more fanciful than women.
Like in togas and stuff.
Yeah, and even like, you know,
even how God is portrayed.
French aristocracy, right?
Yeah.
We have long flowing curly wigs.
Yeah.
We have like these petticoats. We have fancy socks. We got brooches and buckles and like.
Yeah,
I was like, no, men have always been serving cunt, and there's also a million.
This is the normative conservative brain.
Very. I like how
coming into play.
I like how he's saying, I don't hate queers.
Right. I don't make fun of gays.
I don't make fun of gays, but a dress and a beard, that's crazy.
Hard on the eyeballs.
It's a little bit hard for me to look at. Also, he's saying he's not against gay people, but he also said, this person's on 5 inches of cork. What if I came at you? Why are you coming at somebody that has done nothing to you? And in the same respect, then nobody should be wearing 5 inches of cork, because then a woman wearing, or whoever is wearing, a cis woman is wearing 5 inches of cork.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen if you came at her then? Why are we threatening violence against people wearing 5 inches of cork?
Well, he was trying to make it about the traction, but you're suggesting that it's more.
Well, you're insinuating violence against a person who's done nothing against you, and that's why they shouldn't be wearing this. Because what if I try to attack you?
It's probably going to get a lot worse.
A flying headlock, you know? Visually. And so I thought that I had all these thoughts. And then I had my old guy thoughts. I couldn't believe it. It looked like chaos to me. It looked scary. It triggered me. It did.
Okay,
I was like,
honest.
this is cats and
He's
dogs living
honest,
together.
yeah.
You can't just decide you're going to
Can't
wear a
knock him for
dress.
that
What the
part of
fuck, you know? It's like, how are we going to compete with China, you know? Like, I went through these stupid thoughts. I was like, we got to bring back the draft maybe now, you know? And that was all fear, and I just couldn't get it. And I'm just,
he's saying it's fear, and he couldn't get it.
Punk rock. Maybe also
and he said he couldn't get it.
Being older and seeing all these young kids who probably majored in equality, and you know, and I'm just it's not my generation, and he's wearing a dress and a beard, and it just looked like a revolution. It looked like change that I wasn't included in. That's what happens when I see young people ambitious. Let's change the world, you know? When I hear
change
young
that you
people
weren't
say
included
that,
in.
like you hear let's change the world. I hear let's kill everybody over 50, you know?
Okay, yeah, well.
Right? Maybe it makes some sense. I kept thinking about that. I was like, the whole transgender movement, that happened in this zeitgeist, not mine. And I always think about why. It's very interesting, you know? And I just think about
Actually,
when I was growing up, there was one transgender person.
Trans people have been around forever, and actually the Nazis burned all of the books on there was people doing sex changes like in the 30s and doing like sexual like reassignment surgery, and the Nazis were, once again, fascism comes in and says, nah, everybody's got to be in this very particular box.
This has been repressed.
It's just been repressed.
Yeah,
it's always been here, but historically this has always existed, and actually there were people working on this beforehand. It's just that every time a very large fascist regime comes through, they bring us back to the fucking.
Well, he's about to really get into his psychology here, right? Yeah.
I do appreciate that he's admitting.
Yeah, he's honest.
I can't wait to the end because I have to interrupt this stuff every time I hear it, because otherwise my brain will not hold on to it, because there's just so much bullshit.
There's a lot of bullshit.
So continue.
Person, and they did a 60-minute special about them, and I know, and now like 30% of you are trans. I don't know, but like, well, I don't know what it's very interesting to me because.
Oof, that bombed.
Yeah, because also here's the thing. He's saying 30% of you are trans, and the audience is like weird, straight, white Republicans that came to see you. Who's the you?
Are you talking about?
Are you talking about the royal you?
Well, he means Austin.
Got it.
He's assuming that there's lefties that actually go pay money to see Bryan Callen live, which there are not. There's not a single person on the left who would pay to see Bryan Callen live. But
you couldn't pay me to see Bryan Callen live.
Because
I'm hard up.
It happened 2015 when Bruce Jenner had an 8-hour operation, and he woke up Caitlyn Jenner, and then a minute later he won Woman of the Year. And that, I remember that. That was crazy. And I remember I'm just a bunch of like conservatives and traditional Americans. I was like, I have some questions.
Again, at least he's admitting where he's coming from, that he's a conservative traditionalist, right? He just said it.
True. Also, just factually, first off, fuck Caitlyn. Secondly, bitch, it wasn't 8 hours. You think that she got femmed out like that with 1 8-hour surgery? Bitch, that is a lot of time, money, and healing. We're talking FFS. We're talking moans. We're talking titties. We're talking BBLs. We're talking like, and also we don't know how far she, you know, what
also,
all she's done.
Caitlyn Jenner is like pro Ted Cruz. She's a neocon. Who cares about Caitlyn Jenner? It's like, it's such a red herring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Caitlyn's a dumb bitch. I don't like her. But also 8 hours to transify? You wish. Like, no. It's actually, the dolls put in a lot of time, money, and energy.
It also says something that a Republican trans woman is, at least according to his argument, what normalized or sort of made transness part of the zeitgeist,
right,
as he describes it, right? Caitlyn Jenner being the beginning of the mainstream of that, according to him.
According to him.
But it's only because Caitlyn Jenner's Republican.
Right.
If Caitlyn Jenner was a lefty,
it would have been like, oh,
just another, right? Like it wouldn't be an event.
I think actually the existence of Caitlyn Jenner is what proves that like transness isn't like a choice that lefties are making, right? Because you do have like a Republican trans people.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily isn't about a political ideology, right?
Yeah.
It is a feeling that you have in your body and you're trying to like reconcile that and live your fullest truth.
Yeah.
And that is why I will never misgender Caitlyn. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, and that's
But,
the other
like,
part of this is like he's also misgendering Caitlyn while making this joke.
Like what did I say? Don't make me cape for men. Don't make me cape for AI. And don't make me cape for Caitlyn Jenner.
By the way, notice how he went from 30% of y'all are trans, and they're like, no. And then 5 seconds later, he's like,
questions, you know?
He's like, Bruce Jenner, he's like, he's just throwing it all out there and hoping something's going to stick. And then they responded. They're like, he was like, oh, noise.
Percussion. He's waffling. And I don't like when people waffle
he's
comedically.
Playing all sorts of sides here.
If you're going to bomb with your fucking chest. Say that shit and bomb like the rest of us. And sit in a crowd with no claps and an empty applause, like.
And we quickly found out the time for questions was over, bigot. This has all been settled science. We don't need your voice. We saw what you did to the other minorities, Whitey. And I was like, what? And, because her support system was very, very strong. I mean, and vast. I mean, I'm talking about, well, I don't know, let's see. All of the fashion industry, all of Hollywood, all of corporate America, all of legacy media, all of big tech. And that's a formidable group of people. They can make or break you. And then Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, my God. He just overdubbed that little line. Listen to the audio discrepancy. It goes from live to studio back to live.
Play it again. Play it back for me.
Fashion industry, all of Hollywood, all of corporate America, all of legacy media, all of big tech. And that's a formidable group of people. They can make or break you. And then Caitlyn Jenner came out as a Republican. They were like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, that did sound completely different.
Right, because it's a live show, right?
He forgot that line.
Or he just said it, he just wanted to just fix that one line in the studio after. And it's mixed in so you can't. A normal person couldn't tell, but none of that shit gets past my ears.
I was like, what a pussy.
Yeah.
You can't even bomb with your whole chest?
Something else interesting was going on because she was a bad poster girl for the movement anyway. Because who can afford all that surgery? And being trans was not about surgery. It was about an inner narrative. It was about an inner feeling. It was about something that you cannot describe. It's something that's so sacred and deep. And we were told that this was the most vulnerable minority. And they are statistically. They're the ones most likely to cause self-harm and worse. And so suddenly it was like...
Self-harm and worse? What about the murder rates? Trans people are the most violated minority because they get murdered. They are incarcerated.
Also, this is supposed to be a comedy show. Why am I being lectured about, like boo-hoo? He's basically doing a boo-hoo, right? I'm 55, white guy.
I'm old and I can't get with it. And TikTok everybody has different views than me.
And I'm being left behind. And everyone agreed on what the new normal is, and I don't get it.
And I don't get to be a part of it. It's very real, though, but he's like, all I see is revolution.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, baby, get with it. It is.
It's a different generation. It's a different
time.
Than when he was at his peak.
In general, right? That is the nature of life.
The nature, if you will.
And aging.
Yeah.
We experience this. I'm experiencing this now where people are like, yes, body tea, auntie. And I'm like, auntie? Auntie? Who's auntie?
No one's called you auntie. You got called auntie?
If I
got called unk, I'd be so upset.
I get called auntie. Well, you're not in a community with a lot of younger folks, though. You have some younger folks in your life, but you have age appropriate friends.
I got you.
Whereas I have friends that are
calling you auntie.
I have 21-year-old friends. Yeah. I have friends that I am almost twice their age. So they're like, yes, auntie. And also I think a lot of Gen Z loves to be they're ageist amongst themselves, right? Like you have 21-year-olds calling people that are 27 unk. You're like, you're not even living in reality, man. Come on.
New for my generation. If you were talking about feelings in my generation, if you were talking about how something felt, you better be talking about shoes, bitch.
Yeah, we get it. That's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing. And
that like men are repressed.
I was like, and look how that worked out.
Yeah.
I'm like, look how that worked out for you. Now, when you see somebody wearing a dress and a beard,
it triggers the fuck out of you.
You feel threatened.
Yeah.
Because, and that is why trans people experience a lot of violence. It is because when other people see them, their brain goes, not boy, not girl.
Yeah.
And it's because if you grew up in that time, you put yourself in that box, right? Because you were like, I have to do these things to be considered a man. I have to do these things to be considered a woman. And so when you see people that aren't living under the oppressive rules that you've put yourself in, like all of these things hurt everybody. Being trans it's not just about like, there's cis women, right? That have very masculine traits that are accused of being trans, right? There's men that are cis straight men that are more effeminate and like they don't want to play sports, right? Like the transphobia hurts everybody, not just trans people. It hurts cis people as well because of the narrow boxes that you're forcing people to fit into, right? When we're talking about bathrooms, what bathrooms people should go into, right? And which one they're assigned. What if you're just there's masculine looking people that go into the women's restroom and people are like, get this dude out of here, right? Like it hurts everybody. Not everybody's going to present the same way. Everybody has different levels of testosterone. Their bodies are built differently. Like
the whole bathrooms thing is ridiculous because, you know, when you go to, have you ever been, I think we went to Alamo Draft House, didn't we?
No, I don't think we've been together.
Okay. If you go to Alamo Draft House, the way their bathrooms are set up, it's non-gendered, and each stall is a stall that's has a door, which I fucking by far prefer that. I don't want to fucking pee next to a stranger on a fucking horsey urinal bullshit.
I've always wondered that too about men.
Or trough. What's that trough thing?
Urinal trough?
Urinal trough.
I don't know. Piss trough?
Piss, yeah.
That's my new
I hate
bam.
that shit.
I've always thought about that. I've noted, like, I've had my guy friends say, like, yeah, man, the craziest part about men's bathrooms is there's usually only one sit down. And like, sometimes the sit down doesn't have a door.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that is so, like, invasive and degrading. Like, you're like, I got to take a wicked shit, man. And you have to, like, deal with a door that doesn't even close.
Before I would play a show at, like, you know, a scuzzy venue.
Right.
I usually would have to take a pre-show shit.
Makes sense.
You know, before the doors open, you know, this is after we've done sound check or whatever.
Right.
And
you don't want to be full of shit while you're trying to play.
And also, I don't want to take a shit when other people come.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I've had to take a shit in toilets where there's no door. It's exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it makes you just feel gross. Everything about it's what? Why are you making those faces?
You want to know one of my naughty secrets?
What?
Buttons likes to shit at the club. I like to shit at the club sometimes. I poop a lot, and sometimes I kind of feel liberated in a sense where it's not my kink, but I know people go, ew, you're pooping in public, and I have let go of the shit shame. I have zero shit shame, and so part of me
I don't like the experience.
I don't like the experience, but I'm gonna shit where I want to shit, and so part of me feels I feel validated when I shit at the club and girls come into the bathroom and they go, ew, it smells like poop in here, and I was like, go do coke in the bar like everybody else. Who cares, man? It's a bathroom. Bathrooms are for bathroom. Okay, PSA. Bathrooms are for bathroom stuff. If somebody poops in a bathroom, congratulations, that is where poop is supposed to go.
Exactly.
And I will not be shit shamed.
No, don't be shit shamed
for pooping in the club. Sometimes a bitch gotta shit.
Yeah.
And I will shit at the club.
And
I'll shit in your front lawn. I don't give
a bastard has to shit.
Right? We all poop. And I'm just saying, if you go into the bathroom and somebody's pooping, I won't be shit shamed. You won't shit shame me out of the club. Everybody says, ew, who's pooping in the club? Me, bitch. Because I ate before I came here. Because unlike your little alcoholic ass that's on cocaine, I ate a full fucking meal before I came out because I am auntie and I am a grown woman who likes to eat food and I will poop.
I love that rant. Good rant.
Love you.
But this was different. This was new. And by the way, this wasn't just about protecting feelings. This was about saving lives. So that's why, if you had any naysayers, they had to be de-amplified, de-emphasized, de-platformed, defunded, destroyed.
He is nuts. He's so angry. He's so bitter.
I was like, why are you so mad? You're a white man that has a moderately successful comedy career.
He's going psycho. Yeah, but
it's flopping.
It's going down.
You know why he's mad? Because he's a flop. He's flopping. Oof. And he's old. And I understand being old and getting bitter because you're not the hip, hot, cool thing.
Yeah.
It's called age fucking gracefully. It's called aging fucking gracefully. You know what? There's stuff that I don't understand or I don't get. There's humor that I don't get and I don't understand. You know what I do? I sit it out. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking deal with me. It doesn't bother me. I don't need to get everything. I don't need to stay relevant, actually. It's fine to age and not get everything. They're not mutually exclusive.
When I watched the new South Park, I didn't understand the 6'7" joke. Which
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to explain that.
Yeah, well, you
'Cause
don't.
it's some fucking Gen Alpha TikTok brain rot shit.
Yeah.
I don't need to understand.
And you don't need to understand
And by
it.
the way, the South Park episode was still funny without me needing to get it because I got the gist of what they're trying to do with the context of the joke. And
Yeah, and you don't. No, here's the thing, like, not everything is for everybody. I think what it is, especially as an aging white man, is he's used to the world
revolving around him
and including him in everything.
going.
Yeah, and then now that it doesn't,
That's what his brain is doing.
Yeah, exactly. That was a buttonism. I love that. Because it's not revolved around him, and because he's not cool and the center of it, he feels very like.
He's like, and we're getting canceled and deplatformed
And
I'm fucking losing
destroyed.
my mind
And getting-
no one likes me and I'm gonna explode.
I think the
Right?
yeah, exactly, the concept of being destroyed. Baby girl, nobody's destroying you. Like, deplatformed, de-amplified, sure. Destroyed, that's very extreme. Just saying.
So you better be careful. So be on the right side of history.
Okay,
Yeah. But I was
true.
looking at this kid with the dress and the beard, and I thought, I'm probably looking at a white minority, which is wild. You can be white and you can be a minority now. And that's wild. And it's very unique because, you know, for black people and brown people and indigenous people, for them to become minorities, they had to go through hundreds of years of brutal colonization.
Oh my god.
Does this person think that
Oh
black
my-
trans people don't exist?
Oh my, where do you even begin with what he's saying? It's so fucking, yeah, exactly.
My brain just literally short circuited. Do you think that there's not black trans people? Do you think there's not indigenous trans people?
Dude.
I will say though,
Yeah.
I do have my eyeball always goes. I always go like this when you're like a white AFAB person, and you're like super hardcore, like I'm a they them, and I'm like, are you trying to be oppressed? Because sometimes I feel like people do opt into this like tender queer vibe, but they still like live a predominantly like cis, like straight romantic hetero relationship world, and they're just like, no. I do want to be different, and I kind of like want to be like oppressed a little bit, so I'm gonna like co-opt transness to
Or
make
co-opt autism.
to like be part of the like. So you can't come at me for these other things. Like, yes, I may be racist, but
Or
I'm like
co-opting ADHD.
sure. Here's the thing: I want people to experiment with their gender and like what feels good for them. But there are a large amount of white people co-opting this thing to eschew accountability. Spoon can't do the dishes because they have chore.
Spoon.
Yeah, Spoon can't do the dishes because they have chore trauma because their parents used to yell at them around the dishes, and they're like too neurodivergent to like do chores. And I'm like, all of his storyline and comedy and stuff like that is like.
He probably hates the word neurodivergent.
Oh, I'm sure. What I see and hear him doing is
Yeah.
like, it's like he understands the concepts or he's been exposed to the material and he's like using part of it. Where it's like a half truth and then like more lie, right? Where it's like, he's like saying part of the things that make it seem like he understands what's going on. And then you're like kind of like following him and then he goes, "Eh," and then he like runs us off the road and says something like absolutely like deplorable. And I'm like, whoa.
And slavery. But now you can have blonde hair and blue eyes, be white as the driven snow, and you can be a minority on the same level because you feel like one.
No, period. Pause. Period. No. Kimberly Crenshaw coined the term intersectionality. You're not automatically a minority. Everybody has different things, right? Your identity, your orientation, socioeconomic class, education, all of these things combined is intersectionality, right? And it looks at the different forms of oppression and how they layer together and the intersections and the Venn diagram, right? So just automatically being trans does not make you equal as a minority as like a black person. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just here's the ticket to the minority club. It's layers. It's nuance. It's intersections of where these things align.
It seems like he's just
talking about white people, and he's trying to lump them in, saying that they get to be a minority. And I'm like, it's like he kind of has a little bit of knowledge, but I'm just like, Bryan Callen. Will you look up Kimberly Crenshaw's work? It's actually very important, and it explains this whole thing that you're not grasping.
Well, the Rogan sphere is totally antithetical to intersectionality.
But they would benefit so much from it because
they see that as the woke ideology.
I know they see it as the woke
and
ideology.
they call it the woke ideology.
I know, and I'm like, but I'm like, baby, actually, that's what you're missing here. Like, you're kind of getting things that you're not getting things.
Yeah.
I was like, you're the snowflake. Do some research.
That's hacking the system, baby. Leave it up to white people, man. They're great. White people are like, I'm not saying there aren't real trans people. That's not what I'm saying here, because there are. I'm just saying there are grifters in every community.
Okay.
Okay, so we all
See, once again, he did the fucking half-truth thing.
Yeah,
and then he
exactly.
says something terrible. And that's why I'm saying he's so close.
He's
But he's so close, but he's so far, because he's admitting it, because he is triggered and he is in fear mode. When your brain is in fear mode, you're not thinking clearly, right? You're not able to actually process and like absorb information correctly, because he's coming from this really defensive, fearful place that he is being left out of the revolution and that everybody is against him. And I think this is what I talk about when I talk about like, I'm not like a unify everybody together, like kumbaya feeling.
Well, he's not used to women having like autonomy and their own opinions and their own feeling. Like, that's how old school his mindset is.
I know. But that is why I'm like, maybe it's just like the fact that maybe I'm too hopeful. But I always think like, oh, like if this person is like intelligent enough to like understand this concept, I would rather share knowledge, right? And be like, I genuinely believe in like, if it's a good faith debate, right? Or like people want to learn, like some people just didn't grow up with the knowledge or the perspective or the like people around them, right? Like the small town I grew up in, right? Those people have my back and they love me. Do we have the same political ideology? Absolutely not. However, when you hear the things that they're talking about, right? Like they're also experiencing the same world that I am. They're still experiencing late stage capitalism. They just have different scapegoats. And I do think that I have more in common with the redneck that I grew up with in my small town than I have with Jeff Bezos. And therefore, I find that it is in my best interest to try to share as much knowledge.
I think actually this is the best point of the whole arc of this storyline, is that him and Joe Rogan are sucking the dicks of like these oligarch mega billionaires who are eventually, some of them are going to be trillionaires.
Right.
And he's shitting on some fucking kid at a coffee shop.
And it's
who
so
wanted to wear a dress.
And it's like it's so misguided, because I'm like, we all have more in common, even though he's this B-list, C-list celebrity, right? He's sucking their dicks, but he still has fucking more in common with us. The rednecks that I grew up with that don't have the same views as me, still like we still exist. We still shit and break bread like in the same places.
Yeah.
And in the same way where I'm like, oh, don't have me caping for a man. I understand the 4B movement, but I also am like, the male loneliness epidemic is because men are being shitty, but I'm like, why are men being shitty? We need to help men stop being shitty. At the end of the day, I like to think that my like ideology and politics are based in my love of humanity versus like the things that I think are wrong with it. So even if you don't have all the right language and you don't have all the right ideas, I don't want to go blue in the face trying to tell you that my friends deserve to fucking live, right? Like, but I also don't want to throw everybody away that doesn't get it.
Well, in this case, he's a sex pest that...
But this guy sucks. This guy sucks.
There's no saving Bryan Callen.
No, but but I think that's also what frustrates me, because I'm like, damn,
he's TFG.
You're close, but you're so far.
Man,
it's really
wild.
shitty.
I mean, now you can be white and you can be a bigger minority than a black man. Just ask Dave Chappelle. Hey, listen, I know that's a tough section of my presentation, and, you know, some people find that offensive, and I honor your feelings. I really do. But at least honor the fact that that's the way I feel about it.
Boo to the white woman that went, woo!
Yeah, he's doing a throwback, so it's supposed to be witty or good writing or whatever, but it's just bad comedy in my opinion.
Yeah, I honor your feelings, sure, but we're talking facts over feelings, and I want you to do some more research and like come to the table with something more than this pile of shit.
I don't want to be the old guy making fun of a kid in a dress and a beard.
But you are.
But it might sound that way.
You are.
Because I got to go deeper. And I thought to myself, what is it about this zeitgeist? Why did that trans movement take place in this zeitgeist? Why not mine? I would have loved to have worn a dress and a beard. Just seriously, just to mess with my dad. And my dad was a Marine. To walk up to my dad in a dress and a beard just to watch his head explode, just to be like, Dad, guess what? I'm not your son. I'm not your daughter. I'm neither or both.
At least
he's
telling
jealous.
the truth,
He's
right?
fearful and he's jealous and he's bitter.
Because he wishes he could be that liberated.
That's why trans people face violence, is because people see somebody else's freedom. They see somebody living without those confines and they're mad because, sure, maybe you don't feel like you're not a man, right? Or maybe you don't feel like you're totally misaligned with your gender. But there's something about the way that the system has been imposed upon you that has stifled you in some way or made you feel like you weren't able to express yourself freely. And you're so resentful that somebody could just be out there living their fucking truth that it really bothers you. And I'm like, no, my liberation is dependent on your liberation, is dependent on the next person's liberation, which is why it's like so frustrating, because it's so close yet so far. He's admitting his fear. He's admitting his bitterness and his jealousy.
He is.
Which at least he's owning that.
I'm giving him a half point because he's
not
been
fucking
honest.
But he's not funny.
No, but he's not funny.
You're being honest, but you're not funny.
Good wordsmith. Good with words.
Yeah.
Right? He knows how to structure a comedy set. He knows the art form. He's just not. The funny part is
He's lacking funny.
Never mind the fact that he's
a sex pest.
Sexist and
racist. It sounds like he's got all the isms and
misogyn-
phobias.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Sad.
He'd lose his mind, but that wasn't even available. So what about this?
It was
what
available.
What is it about this zeitgeist? Why does that make some sense? And I thought to myself, maybe wearing a dress and a beard is the only thing left for young people to do when they want to feel like some kind of a mystery, some kind of a unique individual. Maybe it's very natural for a young person to want to be unboxable, unknowable, undefinable. And that's the only silent howl that kid can manage, because we live in a world where they know everything about you. That kid's never not been on camera, ever. I remember privacy. I remember it very well, but those planes hit those buildings and we were so afraid. We looked at the government and we said, we'll give you our privacy if you give us our safety. And they were like, how about we do you one better than that? How about a camera and a mic in everybody's hand? And now you're always on camera, my brothers and sisters. You get away with nothing. They do know everything about you. You're an algorithm, a pile of data, and it's all up there. You think you can hide with a hood and a mask? That kid should have talked to me before he carried out that terrible assassination, that dumb. They got cameras.
What?
That can recognize.
Is he talking about Luigi?
One of them.
Your gait, your particular walk is up in the cloud. They can shoot a laser into your heart and pick up your heart signature. How about this? They know a woman is pregnant before she does based on her migratory shopping patterns, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we've known that for a while. This isn't breaking news.
Yeah.
He's acting as if he's like...
dropping a truth bomb on us?
Yeah. Like he's like a preacher and he's like just... tapped into the truth.
He feels like he's a divination rod, and he's like
yeah.
providing us information from source.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we know that. Yeah, Unc, we know that.
Yeah, this is very Unc energy.
Yeah, that's right. They know everything about you. You ain't a mystery. You're just a number. They know what you like and what you don't like. They know what stops your thumb. They know what dilates your eyeball. They know what glazes it over. They can program you to hate what they hate, and they can definitely program you to love what they already have for sale. And when I say they, does anybody know who the hell I'm talking about? Because I don't. I know there are a lot of theories. I don't even think it's people anymore. I think it's the machines.
You know what?
What do you mean? It's this guys in Silicon Valley creating the software.
Do you know what I think he fancies himself?
Uh-huh.
Do you know who he fancies himself as? George Carlin.
Okay.
Bryan Callen.
Like a brilliant philosopher?
He thinks he's George Carlin.
Yeah.
And he's not.
No.
George Carlin was a similar wordsmith in this way, but he was funny. And when he talks about aging and being an old fuck, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
This guy lacks the talent. But that's what I think in his head he thinks he's giving us. He thinks he's giving us a George Carlin special, and he's not.
Someone commented here, I guess we treated Brendan Schaub too harshly. That's a pretty funny comment.
Yeah, we treated him too harshly?
Compared to this situation.
Well, this guy's more intelligent than Brendan Schaub. I will say that. I do think that Bryan Callen is more intelligent than Brendan Schaub.
He is. But
do I agree with him? No.
People are being hyperbolic. They don't actually think Brendan Schaub is special. The Gringo Poppy is better than this. But they're saying this is so bad, it's as if it's worse than Gringo Poppy. Dude, he's not even trying to tell jokes half the time, and the audience clearly feels bad for him and forces some laughs in there. True.
It does feel like forced laughter.
He genuinely seems like he's struggling through a mental health episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's just boomer energy.
And this guy says the phenomenon can be known as Austin brain, which is
Austin brain. Okay.
Based on it means comedy mothership brain.
Yeah.
That's how Austin brain is being used.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Austin brain now unfortunately represents a style of comedian who's like right of center, normative, why can't guys be guys?
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Why does my wife get to have a credit card?
Yeah.
So
that's now unfortunately associated with Austin, as opposed to beforehand it was like a lefty
Keep
city.
Austin weird, right? It's Portland's sister city.
Yeah, and now it's fucking Elon Musk and Joe Rogan moved in and ruined the whole thing, man.
Well, that was the same thing with Portland. Portland got Portlandia'd and gentrified, and the techies took over. Also, just my 2 cents. I've never been to Austin, but I know that it's Portland's sister city. And let's just say that I feel like both of those places are just like places for quirky white people that like really think they're like far out and wild and weird. And I'm like, You just have a tall bike and you like juggling. I don't know if that's actually as counterculture as you want it to be.
All right, well.
Do we watch more of this?
No, we get the point.
We get the point.
He sucks.
We did
the thing.